In this video I'm going to run through how to actually call an equipment module and the logic in an equipment module from a phase. And basically I have a phase open here, and then also you can call and ask for control module variables. Also, you know, like say maybe a temperature probe, and actually pulling the actual value from the converted signal, say back in. So essentially, in terms of actually how to call the equipment module, you generally have actions inside the actual phase, and you might have a simple statement like, say for example here. So say for example on this SFC here, I have this action, and basically what's going on here is that I can see an equipment module being called. That's his name, he's over here as well, and essentially a command is being called, and simply add water. And that's a single line, and that single line means quite a bit going on in the background. So say for example, if I just show the actual screen here, here I have the CIP tank, and the CIP tank add water, as you can guess, would mean add water to the tank. But there's an awful lot else that you can actually check here as well, right? You might want to say for example, make sure that the drain valve is closed. You want to make sure that this pump is not turned on. You know, it's just, it could be, it depends on the system that's actually there, but there can be quite a few things that you can actually need to look at. So essentially, if I go into then looking, say for example, at the actual transition that comes after that piece of logic that's inside, basically in here, say for example, I have an expression, and that expression, say for example, is pretty much comparing the actual level, say for example in a tank, compared to effectively like total weight. And essentially from there I've called the equipment module command add water, and then there's an evaluation which occurs right after. So all of this logic has been called in one line, and then say for example right after in the phase is waiting for the bottom line of what was the outcome of that command. And I'll actually run it just to kind of show to make sense exactly what that means. So if I go into the actual the equipment module itself, just as kind of like as a refresher, I'll go and open it up in Control Studio. I'll see that there's a variety of commands right here. So here, say for example, I see hold command, and then I can see if I click on the step here, there's a number of actions, and these will happen sequentially. So say I have action 10, action 20, action 30. That can be quite a bit of logic that all comes from just this one line in the phase of and here, say for example, the one that I want to look at in particular is the add water command. The add water command does a number of things. Say for example, it might do a number of checks in advance, and these are all this is logic built from statements from a process engineer and a P&ID, as the process engineer saw it, of what should happen or what should absolutely not happen before actually getting to actually doing the piece that you actually want. So it's you could even have the concept of interlocks, which are normally in a control module, but you can even have interlock logic scenario actually come in here as well. So say for example, we have a number of actions which are kind of preconditions here when we call the add water command in the equipment module. And the main thing that we want to actually do here is we want to open up this particular valve, and we just literally have said it's a true, an on-off valve is called. We open up here, and then we'll see that this particular valve will actually open directly as it's actually running. So I think what I'll do here is I'll actually go online. So we have a phase for CIP, and basically I'll go in here and I'll go open online with Control Studio, so we'll get to see the thing actually running live itself. So if I'm right here, I will see that idle. He's in idle at the moment, and I'm going to come back here in just a minute. So I'm going to run the application. There's also this other application here, which is a very handy thing, which is used just for recipe parameters. So here I'm going to see that there's actually this water weight guy. He actually is going to be what is the actual tank, and also then we have this level here, which basically says the tank, what does it have in it, you know what I mean, at any given time. At the moment his current value is 0, and we can see it here on the screen. So I'm going to give him a run now, I use this guy called basically a phase logic module to run very quickly from a screen, because it's a great way to test right there and then without going through all of the steps of the batch executive before you assign it to it. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to literally run, and I'm going to go in at the start. So he's running right now, and what we're going to see here is that we see starting water addition, and then we're going to see that that valve opens. Okay, so then we can go back here and we can see that running is now active. So if I go into running, then I'll see that basically we're in this step here, and we can go, well, what exactly is in that step, right? So we can take a look at actions in that step, and effectively there's an action in there, obviously, of the add the water command, and the expression that was here, if we go live, we'll be able to basically see it, right? So the logic here is that essentially we have a level input, and then we have the tank weight, right? And once the tank volume, right, has filled with enough, then effectively what we'll be able to do is we'll be able to move on past this particular transition that's right here and move on with the next state at the moment. So if I go back here to this screen, and if I open up this application again, let's go and let's play with this. He has to reach 800. Let's put him down at 700, and we'll just simulate that. So we're going to go to 700, and we're basically going to see that on the screen the tank itself has reached 700 here. So he's on the way. And if we go back to look live, we'll see that this guy has a value of 700. Again, he has to reach 800. So we will then go, and we'll go, right, okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to put down 805. And we're going to see that now he's actually going to be happy to proceed. So we can see that he's actually moved on. He's moved on in his transition. And that's very much an example of how you call an equipment module from a phase where there can be quite a bit going on in the equipment module. But the lovely thing about using it is that you can reuse it in different circumstances, especially in similar systems where you've got a large amount of logic that can be called all in one line when you're actually writing the phase recipe. Thank you very much.